When Cuphead released, I didn't get into it very much. I think it's because I was very close-minded when it came to defeats in games. I never took defeats lightly in video games, therefore I stuck to what I was good at. However, Cuphead has a lot more to offer than meets the eye. At its surface, it's an excruciatingly difficult game. For some, even the tutorial. It took a journalist over an hour to complete a basic tutorial at the start of the game when it released. But I think they just never picked up a controller in their life. I'm talking about after the tutorial. When you start sinking your teeth into the art style and the gameplay's fluidity, that's what really gets you going. And that's what makes Cuphead special. Cuphead is easily one of my favorite games I've discovered this year, or rediscovered. I'm here to convince you to give it a go. This video isn't going to be structured like gameplay, music, design, etc. I just wanted to splurt out my thoughts into a video with some gameplay behind it. That way you can experience the game for yourself. Cuphead and his brother Mugman made a deal with the devil gambling, and need to kill the bosses of the game to redeem their souls. That's pretty much the story without giving away the fun dialogue and art slides for the game's introduction. Cuphead is a 2D side-scroller set in a 1930s art style, mixed with shmup-like mechanics. 1930s cartoon style is like Tugboat Willie and such from back in the day, and Mickey Mouse. And shmups are those popular games you used to see in the arcades like Raiden and 1942, just to name a few popular ones. It's the combination of Cuphead's art style and gameplay when it synergizes together that makes it so special. It took me about 3 bosses to realize how similar it was to shmup games in terms of how systematic and fast-paced the boss design really is. The game's way of pulling you in whilst attempting you to get the bosses again and again, slowly learning new mechanics from each boss is an incredible feeling once you finally clear the boss you've been trying to kill for the last hour plus. That might not seem like a lot of time in a game for a boss, but I'm very impatient with these types of things. That feeling of relief and satisfaction in a video game is hard to come by these days. I don't know if it's my choice in video games lately, but most of them are finally starting to hit home again. I've begun to enjoy harder games as I feel more reward than frustration, and it boosts my attention and reflexes in more common games I play, such as Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, and Overwatch. Now, could it be because I'm getting older than my 12-year-old Call of Duty mindset? Quite possibly. Or could it be because difficult video games are good for our mental growth? I believe both to be true. One thing to quickly mention, this game is a local 2-player couch co-op styled game as well. However, the bosses have more health and it's also a lot harder to track their movements with 2 players on screen. But if you really wanted to play with a friend, I'd recommend playing the easy bosses or at least the game through first, before frustrating yourself and your friend into not playing it. The game plays far differently with 1 person compared to 2. Now we'll cover the basics real quick of Cuphead. The abilities. Yes, there's abilities in Cuphead. You can purchase them from the shop from the good old Porker bloke. Each potion has a different shot for the player. Some are scatter shots, some bounce off the walls, and some lob at enemies. Each type of ability comes in handy depending on the boss you're facing. The game keeps you on your toes when it comes to figuring out which ability works best for you. But by far the most important mechanic I learned early thanks to a friend was the ultimate ability. When you shoot the boss, you slowly gain your cards to hit a larger attack. Once you hit all 6 cards in your inventory, you can drop an ultimate bomb, quite literally, onto the boss, doing enough damage to nearly clear an entire section of a boss fight. Timing is essential in Cuphead, and you can pretty much clear an entire boss quicker than you think, if you do it correctly. The thing about Cuphead is, you know how you have usually some stages to bosses, and no matter what, and you get them to low health, it'll just start the stage again. Well, with Cuphead it's a little different. If you do a lot of damage in the first part of that boss, then you can actually kill it by the second phase. The health carries over between phases in a boss. It's not just so sequential, which is quite interesting. It's very hard to explain, but if you play it or probably look up another video of it, I'm sure you could find out what I mean. Besides the parry system where you press X or spacebar to pretty much slap the pink orbs to regen your cards faster, at its core, Cuphead is a game about overcoming challenges, learning patterns, and enjoying the unique environment and atmosphere that it creates as you play. It is quite literally like an animated movie from the 1930s you get to take place in as the main character. I'd recommend Cuphead to pretty much everyone to try at least once. If you love difficult games at your core, and you have a bit of a persistent mindset, that's all you will need for this game. Now that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining us in the Graveyard Shift. If you enjoy this type of content, consider subscribing or coming into my live streams and letting me know what you think. I'm aiming to create these types of videos every month on top of my usual gaming content, so the best way to support those endeavors is just checking out my Patreon down below or subscribing to the channel. Stay deadly, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you pick up Cuphead. It's worth a try. Yes! F you! I f***ing hate you. Oh, dude. Finally, dude. Ah, finally. Huge. Oh, man. Sorry, chat. I did get a bit heated there, man. Oh, fuck you.